You in the shot? You in the shot? Oh, you pushed the mic. You pushed the mic. Okay, I think we're in. What is going on, cast and crew? Welcome back to Tyler's Theater. This is Prada, and the reason she's here with us today is because we are going to be reviewing Ballerina. For any of us John Wick fans, we all know that this whole movie franchise was basically started because of a dog. So this one is going to join us for this video. Oh, you want to get down? You want to get down? You don't want to be in the video? You sure? Okay, we'll look in the camera one more time. Cheese. Okay. Good. So first thing I want to say about this movie is that this movie was absolutely intense. Right from the beginning sequence, you get a very clear idea of what this movie is going to be. You get the tone immediately. And yes, the tone of this movie does follow the John Wick series very well. If you are a John Wick fan, I definitely recommend going to see Ballerina. This movie starts off with our lead character, Eve Macaro, played by Ana de Armas. And she's about 9 years old, she's with her father, and she's doing some ballerina dancing. We then learn that her father is part of the Assassin's Creed, and a certain cult is basically on the hunt to kill him. We get a very intense sequence between the father and the cult. And before I go a little bit more into this video, if you want to see blood, if you want to see gore, you're going to see it in this movie. This movie has a lot of people blowing up, a lot of people burning. One guy in the beginning is shot in the head with an arrow, and then shot a couple times more in the face with arrows. This movie does deliver when it comes to the violence, as every John Wick movie should have. Eve in this scene is about 9 years old, watching her father take on this cult, and out of defense, she does kill one of the cult members, and shortly after that, her father is killed. So this girl goes through a very traumatic incident. Our favorite manager, Winston, finds her and basically brings her to the Ruscaroma. The Ruscaroma gives her a choice to be part of that particular Cree, and she accepts the offer. We see her doing some ballerina training, and that was one scene that I really liked. It showed the intensity that ballerinas go through. You know, it showed the stage that she was dancing on was covered in blood from her feet. Her toes were all bandaged up. We see her doing some martial art training. We see her doing some firearm training. One of the mentors of the clan tells her that, you know, she's going to be smaller. She's going to be weaker. She can't fight as strong as some of the other members do. So they tell her to improvise and basically to cheat. Throughout the movie, that is a recurring theme in all of her fight sequences. She is grabbing everything she can to help defend herself. She's grabbing pickaxes, she's grabbing grenades, she's using flamethrowers, ice skates. So the fight sequences in this movie were really, really good. Exactly what you want to see in a John Wick movie. I clap my hands for the fight coordinators and stunt team. I thought they did a fantastic job. I can definitely see that the actress put in the time and the effort to make sure that she was prepared for this particular role. There's not a lot of gaps between the fight sequences. There's not a lot of slow moments. I was basically on the edge of my seat this entire movie. Fast forward, as she is growing in this life of being an assassin, she then begins to learn about the particular cult group that killed her father. She goes into full hunting mode. She wants complete revenge and makes it her personal mission to take them down. So this particular cult that she is going after basically takes in little kids at a very young age and raises them to be killers. But as Eve is hunting them down, she comes across a father and a daughter in one of the Continental hotels. A fight does break out in the Continental. I was kind of confused at first because I was like, why are they fighting and pretending like there's no consequences? All of us John Wick fans know that there is no business conducted in any of the Continentals. But after the business is concluded, they revert back to the rules of the Continental. The people who started the fight are killed, and Eve is like, look, I was defending myself. I didn't kill anybody. I stayed true to the rules. The dad, played by Norman Reedus, who I actually thought would have a little bit more of a role in this movie, is shot, and his daughter is taken by the cult. We see a connection between Eve and this little girl because she can relate to her very much. You know, she witnessed her father get shot. So now her character turns into, not only am I going after the cult for revenge, but now I actually have a purpose, and that's to save this little girl. That is a factor that the Ruscaroma talks about in this movie, that yes, we are assassins, yes, we kill people, but you know, we also save people. Like, there is some good and purpose to what we're doing, which I actually kind of am glad that they brought that up. Eve goes to an armory, and as the armorist is showing her all the weapons, a fight breaks out in the armory. And this is the scene where we get that amazing grenade sequence. You guys may have saw in the trailer the scene when she puts the grenade in the guy's mouth, locks him behind the door, and he explodes. There's basically a lot of that in this particular fight sequence, and it was so exciting, absolutely intense, absolutely mind-blowing, pun intended. Fast forward, she finds this particular cult, and of course more fighting breaks out in this particular village that the cult members are in. One of the members of this cult actually is Eve's sister. Eve, when she's younger, mentions that she never got to know her sister. She wishes that she could. And just as the emotion is building up, her sister is basically killed in front of her. This only builds up Eve's vengeful side. She kills more cult members and basically calls the cult leader and is like, this is not over until you're dead. Cult leader then calls the director of the Ruscaroma and says, look, we got a problem. One of yours is conducting business, trying to kill us, trying to kill me. And the director basically says, all right, let's have a truce. I have an idea. I will send someone who is capable of killing her. And of course, she sends John Wick, the Baba Yaga. Yeah. John Wick then shows up at the village. And for those of you who thought that John Wick and Eve were going to have a big battle sequence, you're going to be probably disappointed. However, one of the biggest speculations was, is this new character replacing John Wick? Is she going to be the new face of the John Wick franchise? The writers make it very clear that John Wick is still the alpha, is still top dog. Eve stands no chance against him. He takes her down very quickly, and during this fight, he actually has mercy on her. He relates to her. She's like, look, they took everything from me. And he's like, I understand. I'll give you 30 minutes to kill this man. But if not, rules and consequences. During this 30 minutes, we get a really cool flamethrower sequence. I really enjoyed seeing this. And John Wick is basically up there just watching with his rifle, like, okay, is she gonna complete it in 30 minutes? He's got his scope on her. He's ready to kill her if she fails. And for those of you John Wick fans, don't worry, John Wick does have a small fight sequence. It did feel like the original John Wick movies, so if you want to see Keanu kick some butt, you are going to see it in this movie for a little bit. Eve finally comes face to face with the cult member, and he's basically like, do you really think you can get out of this life? Do you think that this little girl can get out of this life? Oh, and one thing I forgot to mention, he's the grandfather of the little girl that Eve is trying to save. As he's monologuing and monologuing, Eve pulls the trigger and puts a bullet right in his face. She completes her mission within the time that she is given, and John Wick does in fact spare her life. John Wick calls the director and is like, it's finished. He's dead. Eve saves the little girl and basically accepts that she is now in this life. You know, her value goes way up. You know, she got her revenge. And that's basically where this movie ends. So again, a lot of brutality, a lot of fighting. I give this movie about an 8.5 out of 10. There really is not a lot that I can complain about or critique. I just had a lot of fun watching it. But for now, that concludes this video, and I will see you guys in the next one. Yeah.